Back out here doing some more testing with the whip machine and tool mod 1. And the first time we brought it out, my optic fell off. So I've got it remounted on the Geisley riser. I've really been enjoying putting my optics up a little higher. Just makes for just a more comfortable shooting experience, as does this suppressor, especially with 147 grain subs. God, this thing is nice. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. Shooting is fun, and today I want to talk about my most fun gun to shoot, and it is not my most expensive gun, not even close. It's the first AR build I ever did, and it's a 9mm AR. And I know that we've showed it on the channel before, but I actually went out to film a different video this weekend about a product that was sent to me by a company, and I couldn't get it to work while I was out there. And so I've emailed them, and I'm going to wait for a response and see if it was me doing something wrong. But I brought this gun out with me to do the filming because I just wanted something fun and easy to shoot. And it just reminded me how fun and how easy it is to shoot this Aero Precision EPC9. And I think that it's important for any gun owner to own some really fun guns, because part of what makes you want to go shoot and train is if you're having a good time. And something like this, it's hard not to have a good time. There is almost nothing more fun than shooting this AR9, for real. I love this gun. There are several things that make a gun like this fun to shoot. For one, has to do with just the form factor in itself. 9mm, is designed to shoot out of a short barrel. It's a handgun round. So if you're building a 9mm carbine, you can do it with a shorter barrel. As you guys probably already know, I like short barrels. I'm currently building a 10.3 inch 5.56 Mark 18. I just like short barrels. SBRs should not be regulated as NFA items. Barrel length shouldn't be arbitrary whether it's legal or not. To me, that's absolutely ridiculous. But short barrels are fun. They're just easier to move around. They don't feel so unwieldy, and you can put a suppressor on a short barrel and it still feels pretty nice and short. So I built this EPC9 with an 8.3 inch barrel from Ballistic Advantage. And we will get into that barrel in a minute because I did have some problems with it initially, but I fixed those problems pretty easily, and this gun now is as reliable as any of my other guns. It's a direct blowback AR9, which is a very, very simple operating system. And as long as you can get your gun to feed properly, it's gonna be reliable. I ran this thing with 115, 124, and 147 grain 9mm rounds, and it runs them all just fine. Now that I've got the suppressor on it, I mostly run 147 grain, but the ones I've been getting are from AAC, and they are kind of a flat-nosed round, and they don't seem to have any problem feeding. But the other thing about the form factor of something like this is it's nice and light. This gun doesn't weigh hardly anything. And I don't have a bunch of extra crap on it except for what you would consider to be the essentials. An optic, I don't even have backup iron sights on it, and I've got a light, and it's a decent light. This is a Streamlight ProTac HL-X. Now, I have added some stuff to it. I don't like the pressure pad that comes with the Streamlight rifle lights. I know for some people it's worked great. I went through 2 of them with this light, and both of them had issues just not working sometimes. And so I'm running a mod button light. And in order to do that, Arasaka makes an adapter to where you can hook up, surefire tail caps and stuff, and then run any kind of switch you want. And it's made this into a reliable light, but still much less expensive than an actual mod light setup, which is really nice. Before we get deeper into this gun, let's have a quick word from our channel partner. If you'd like to help support Sawtooth Tactical, the very best way to do that is to click the first link in the description. That link is aura.com/sawtooth-tactical. If you use my link, you get a 2-week free trial. And you can quit anytime, but you probably want to stick with it as I have. What has Aura done for me? Well, I don't get any spam calls anymore. I don't get spam emails. I don't get calls from scammers. What they do is they find all the data brokers that have your information online. They submit opt-out requests on your behalf so that you don't get scammers and spam calls anymore. But they do a lot of other things too. They have a VPN, which just helps to protect your privacy. They've got a ton of stuff, and it all comes in at a very low price. If you stick with it after that 2 weeks, it is only $12 a month. I think Aura is pretty cool because they sponsor gun-related channels, which not a lot of sponsors are willing to do that. And it really helps channels like mine be able to produce this kind of content. YouTube doesn't really like to monetize gun-related videos anymore. And so sponsors like Aura make things like Mark 18 builds possible. So check it out. It's definitely worth trying it out for 2 weeks. Like I said, you're probably going to want to stick with it. I don't have to worry about scammers anymore. I don't have to worry about spam calls, spam emails. And that's been really nice. I use my phone for work, and so I have to answer calls that I don't recognize all the time. And none of them are scammers anymore. And I really like that. So again, check it out. First link in the description, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical. I can almost guarantee that you're going to love it. Check it out. So like I said, the essentials, optic and a light. Just in case I ever had to use this as a home defense gun or something, you know, those two things I think are pretty necessary. Everything else is pretty basic, although I do have the furniture on it that I like. B5 Systems stock, B5 Systems grip. I don't know if you can tell, but I like those. I use them on just about everything these days. In fact, that's what's going on the new Mark 18 build as well. We've got the BCM vertical, and I always put that in quotes, vertical foregrip, because it is angled slightly, and I like to angle it forward. So this gun has the same ergonomics as all of my other ARs, basically. It feels the same, just much lighter and much shorter. And that makes it really fun. You can go out to the range with something like this. 9mm has very little recoil. And I know a lot of people say that a blowback 9mm has as much recoil as a 5.56, which, I mean, to be fair, 5.56 has very little recoil. But this thing, for some reason, I feel like I can put shots on target faster. And, you know, I can shoot a 5.56 fast too. But for some reason, it is just easy with this to pull the trigger and to keep it on target. The dot in my red dot barely moves. And now speaking of red dot, I did recently put this on the Geisley Super Precision optic riser mount, and that makes a big difference as well. As you can see, I'm starting to put most of my red dots on risers. And I don't have nods yet, although I do plan to get them eventually, so it is kind of future-proofing some of these builds so that I can run them with nods. But even without night vision, it's just so nice to be able to keep your head kind of up rather than having to get so far down on the stock to be able to see through your optic. In fact, even my daughter has an easier time seeing through the optic on this now. Now, she is right-handed, but she's left-eye dominant, and so we've learned that it is easier for her to shoot left-handed. Me, I'm left-handed, but I'm right-eye dominant, so I actually shoot right-handed even though I'm left-handed. Now, when we talk about fun guns to shoot, this is my favorite rifle platform gun to shoot. The Prodigy is my favorite pistol platform gun to shoot. We've done a lot of videos on the Prodigy over the last year, and this one was just something that I wanted to talk about because I do think it is important for everyone to have guns that they just enjoy going out and shooting. One of the reasons that it's so easy to enjoy a 9mm carbine is that it takes 9mm ammo, and 9mm costs less than 5.56 or 300 blackout or even 7.62x39 at this point, which makes it just kind of less guilty feeling when you go through a lot of it. The AR-15 is about the most user-friendly rifle platform that there is, but it's kind of big, long, heavy, loud for a kid. So if you want to make your kid something that they'll actually enjoy shooting, a short AR-9 suppressed, and you run some subsonic ammo, it might be the perfect thing to get them into it. I'm going to put a few rounds through this, and then we're going to have my daughter come out here and shoot. When I designed this gun, I actually kind of designed it for my daughter. Now, of course, it's my gun, and I end up shooting it a lot more than she does. But she has shot my 16-inch AR, which actually isn't even behind me right now, and she shot it very well. Her very first shot, she blew up a 2-liter of orange soda that was, I don't know, about 40 yards or so out. One shot, and she got it. And she's got some BB guns, both a pistol and a Daisy Red Ryder lever action. And she shoots those very well. But I'm not going to force her into shooting. But if she wants to shoot, I want to have something that's fun for her to shoot. And so that was a big part of the point of this. I can collapse the stock in. She's 12 years old. And it's an easy gun for her to get on, to be able to see through the optic, and to be able to manipulate and handle. It has very little recoil, and it's nice and light. And to me, that just is less intimidating than a 16-inch AR that's going to feel really front heavy, that's going to be a lot louder. I mean, noise is almost the biggest thing that scares a kid away from shooting, because even a 5.56 AR doesn't have a lot of recoil, but it's a lot louder. And so that brings us to the suppressor. And this is, we'll do this off camera for YouTube. This is the Whip Machine and Tool Mod 1. And the Mod 1 is their QD suppressor. So this uses the reared-in system here. You've got a reared-in muzzle brake and a reared-in QD on your very compact suppressor. But even as compact as it is, this suppressor is hearing safe. And while I generally shoot with Ear Pro, even when I am shooting suppressed, I can shoot 147 grain subsonic 9mm with this can without it. I don't feel like it's damaging my hearing. Now, I'm not a doctor, and it probably does do some damage if you're like mag dumping. But a few shots without Ear Pro with this can, not an issue. If you do have Ear Pro on, it's nice and quiet. And so that was these last two things that I've added to this. And I know I've done videos about this gun in the past, but adding this optic riser and the suppressor, and honestly the switch for the light and the different furniture, all the stuff that we've done recently has really made this thing just kind of perfect now. And while, you know, it's not the most serious gun, it's definitely not an almost $5,000, 14.5 inch, 5.56 end of the world type gun. This thing is, I mean, there's no way around it. It's the most fun gun that I have to shoot. And I do think that everyone should build a gun that is this fun to shoot. The AR-9 is about the perfect size for a 12-year-old girl. All right, go for it, sweetie. Safety off. Look down your sights. Yep. So you know what you're doing, so.
I don't know how to take the safety.
This is the safety. Oh. And then make sure you're looking through your sights and pull the trigger when you're ready. Hey, nice hit.
Okay.
Right? Nice. Good job.
It's a bit like in my...
So here's that daughter I was talking about. This is Savannah. And just want to demonstrate really quickly how easy it is for her to shoulder something this short and this light. As you can see, she hasn't put in a whole lot of time shooting yet, but I just want that when she is ready, and she does want to, that she has something that fits her and is easy for her. I've actually been pretty impressed with this Whip Machine and Tool Mod 1 9mm can here. So we can go with no Ear Pro. See how that is. Not bad at all. So in building a gun that I thought would be perfect for my daughter, I ended up building a gun that was also perfect for me. This thing is just a heck of a lot of fun. I know I keep saying that over and over again, but I do think it's important to have guns that are fun. And this is the reason why. Training is important. Practicing, going, shooting regularly. It is a perishable skill. But the only way that you're going to actually go and do it regularly is if you enjoy it. And if you have something like this, you're going to really enjoy it. And I think it's a great training aid for your regular 5.56 guns, but cheaper. For one thing, 9mm, so it costs a lot less to shoot. For two, it actually costs less to build. There's no gas system involved. This gun costs less than this one to build. Just the reality. For three, because it's 9mm, you could shoot steel up a lot closer than you really safely can with 5.56. But it's got all your same AR controls. So I use my same Radian safety, Radian charging handle, the same parts that I use on my other ARs. Mag release is in the same spot. It feels just like any other AR that I have. I use the same stock that I like, the same grips, everything like that. You know, my switch for the light is in the same place as it is on all of my others. And so really, it's fantastic for training on the cheap. I know a lot of people like to use the CMMG 22 long rifle conversion kits. Similar idea, although 9mm just feels a little bit more like shooting a real round to me than 22. Not that there's anything wrong with 22. I love shooting 22. It's super fun. But when you want to talk about recoil, it literally has no recoil. And so in that way, I feel like it's not as realistic training as something that, you know, is just a little bit more of a real defensive round. And don't get me wrong the way I'm saying that. I know 22 can be lethal for sure. But just the way I feel, 9mm, cheaper than 5.56, but still a real defensive round and really fun to train with. And when I say fun, I mean really fun. Every time I go out with this thing, it puts a smile on my face. These Glock stick mags, you have plenty of rounds between reloading, and it's just a good time. So I think that everyone should build something like this or buy something like this, have a 9mm carbine to train with, and to practice with, and to have fun with. Because shooting, while it is kind of a serious topic, gun ownership and the Second Amendment, protecting your freedoms and your life and your livelihood and your household, having fun is part of it too. I mean, this is something that I really enjoy, is shooting in general. And so to have guns that you just really enjoy shooting, I think is also very important. Well, I think this AR-9 is finally finished. It really feels good now. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Let me know what your favorite gun is to shoot. Not your best gun, not your, most capable end of the world gun, but the one that is just the most fun for you to go shoot out at the range. Let me know what it is. And the video that I was planning on filming when I went out to the range, hopefully I'll get that product figured out and maybe we'll be able to bring that video to you guys next week. But for now, I just think make sure that you have something that you really, really enjoy shooting. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.